Okay, for figure 7 question 2a, the commands that we will cover is creating a work plane. So far, we've only been using the default work plane, the XY, XZ, and YZ work planes to create our sketches. Okay, this time round, we're gonna try to create our sketches on surfaces of solids that we have created. So it's gonna be slightly different than the previous exercises. Okay, now when we have a problem like figure 7 question 2a, we usually take our time to study the drawing and understand how we are going to approach doing this part. The best way to do it, of course, is to break it up into pieces, okay, and then draw it out feature by feature. Now, for creating of the work planes, other than creating sketches on surfaces of parts that we have already done, we want to create work planes that are not the default XY work planes or XZ or YZ work planes. Okay. The next thing we're going to learn also is the hole commands, how to create the holes here using the hole command, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So the very first step is I'll create the base, right, followed by the backing, and then I will create the work plane that is offset from this surface by 69 millimeters. Then I'll create this web, okay, and then I will start creating the holes, and last I will add in the chamfers. Okay, let's start. Before we start, let's look at the dimension. I want to create the base, and I want to create the base such that it starts from this length rather than from the back. Okay, so it is 57 plus 20 minus the thickness of this wall, which is 12. Okay, and that would leave us with 50, 60, 77 minus 12 would be 65. Right, 65, and the length of this is 150. So we go about starting a new part, matrix standard, create, and I'm gonna start file, save as, and it's gonna be figure 7 question 2a. Figure question 2a. Start the sketch on the front. I'm gonna draw the base with the front, and I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna centralize the work plane, so I'm gonna centralize the rectangle. I'm going to add a vertical constraint so that it's vertical. Then I'm going to add a horizontal constraint. Then I'll add the length, which is 150, and the breadth for 65, right? And I'll finish the sketch. The thickness of the part is 12 millimeters, so I'll put 12. Let me double check. Yes, it's 12 millimeters. Then where is that? Okay, 12 millimeters. I'm okay, right? Now this is the front view, and I'm going to create a sketch here, right? Previously we create sketch on the work planes, and the work planes are here, and the work planes are at the midpoint, right? And I'm going to create a sketch here on this surface, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the height of the back wall. The width of it is 12 millimeters. The height of the wall is, if I'm not wrong, it's 70 millimeters. Let's confirm that again. 70 millimeters, right? Okay. Now it is still not fully constrained. It's still not fully constrained because I clicked it somewhere here. So what I'll do is that I will constrain it using this constraint command. So this shares the same line as this, so I make this collinear, right? And then it's fully constrained. Okay, if it's still not fully constrained, then what you do is you make sure that this line is collinear to this edge here, the short edge here, and then it will fully constrain. So once it's fully constrained, you are ready to extrude it. By default, they will extrude it towards away from you or towards you, and I want to flip it the other way around, and the distance to extrude is 130 millimeters. Okay, I have that right out. Now this is the part that I was talking about. We all have our work planes here, and none of the work planes are from a distance 69 millimeters from this face. So to create a work plane so that you can create a sketch, you use this, right? Or you can click the black triangle and you click offset from work plane, right? And you can click this surface, you left click on it and hold and drag, okay? And the distance is minus 69. And what you have here very visibly is a work plane that exists, right, called work plane 1, and shown here on the tree. And you can create a sketch on this work plane. Okay, you can create a sketch on this work plane. And what you do now is you draw out the profile of your of that web or that section. So what I do is usually sometimes what I do is I do project geometry. If I move over my mouse over to this surface, the whole surface is green. If I click on it, what will happen is that if I spin it around, right, or you can see that the perimeter of this L-shaped profile will be projected across here, and the line is yellow. Now if you were to draw any lines connecting to these yellow lines, it will create a closed loop, and you can project, or you can create an extrusion from that. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to draw a line, and it's from the top, okay, and it goes out across 25 millimeters, right, and then it goes down, but I'm not sure how far down it is or the distance. So I just click it on the yellow line and I dimension it, and this distance is 45 millimeters. Okay, so once again my sketch is fully constrained, I am ready to extrude. Notice that I did not draw a line across. I need not draw a line across. As long as it is touching the yellow lines, it is assumed that it is not assumed, it will be considered as a closed loop. So I finish my sketch here and I extrude. Okay, and I can extrude this surface, click it back to extrude the other surface, and the thickness for this is 12 millimeters. Okay, enter. Right, now if this work plane is getting in your way, you don't quite like it being there so visible, you can move your mouse over to the work plane, right click, and select, you can uncheck the visibility, and what will happen is that that work plane will disappear. Next up, because you've already created a part here, you need not click on the work plane anymore. You can click on the surface and you can create the hole. You could always draw a circle and extrude cut and create a hole, right? Something like this. I'm just giving you an example. Finish sketch, extrude, extrude cut, and you say true all, and you create a hole. Okay, you create a hole in the wall. But however, for our for this particular course, we do not allow creation of holes in this using this method. Okay, we want you to create holes using this hole command over here, and I'll show you how that is done. So I'm going to delete this hole here, and the way we use the hole command is we create a point, we draw a point, we put a point there, and then we dimension the point. Okay, so this one here is 18 millimeters. I'll explain the rationale as to why they want you to use the hole command. Okay, and the height is 30 millimeters. Okay, let's counter check. 18 millimeters and 30 millimeters. Okay, and the diameter of the hole is 12. Now the reason why we want you to use this hole command is so that in the future, if you wish to modify the hole and create different features or different types of hole, you could easily do so with this menu over here. Right now we are just creating a simple hole, so this is a simple hole. If you click over here, it will become a threaded hole. If you click over here, it will be a counter bore, and you click over here, it will be a counter sunk. But for now, I'm creating just a plain simple through hole. Right, I'll click this selection. The termination, you can specify the depth. That means you can create a hole that is shallower than the thickness of the material, or you can click on this, which means it will drill all the way through. Okay, if you want to flip the dimensions, you can flip the dimensions, but then this will result in an error because you'll be drilling in mid-air, or you'll be drilling in air. So by default, they will recognize that there is material and they will drill towards the material. The diameter of the hole is diameter 12, and once you're done, you click OK, and you have a hole ready. Okay, now in the event if you want to change the position of the hole, you edit sketch and you alter the dimensions of the point. When you change the dimensions of the point, the hole will move along. Let's give it a try. Let's put it at 50 millimeters and let's see how this goes. Yes, the hole goes all the way up, right? Okay, so you can actually change the position of holes by editing the sketch. Now, to undo, I press Ctrl Z again, and then I'll be fine. Okay, now I'm going to create the other two holes, and the other two holes are on this plane. The same thing, I'll create points. I'll randomly put the points here, and what I can do is I can align the points so that they are aligned. Okay, right, and then I'll add dimensions to them. This distance is let me check in the drawing, 30 millimeters, 30 millimeters by 30 millimeters on both ends. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. 30 millimeters, and this is 30 millimeters. This is 30 millimeters as well. Oops. And you can see that the points are turned black, right? Which means that they are fully constrained. So I'm good, right? I'm good. Now, once this is done, I click OK, create the holes, and this time round, it's the same thing, true holes, and they are larger in diameter. They are diameter 24. So I change this diameter 24, 24, and I have my holes. The last thing I want to create is the chamfer, and the chamfer has got is basically a cut at the corner, and the chamfer command is over here. This is the fillet command, right? And you could choose this chamfer command, and there are several options, right? If you choose this option here, what it means is that um, it is 2 millimeters from the corner and 2 millimeters from this side as well. So it goes in, and it goes in equally. So when you change this number to 5, you will adjust accordingly. Right? Now, sometimes you want to create a chamfer that is at an angle, right? At an angle, and from with respect to this angle, it is 45 degrees, okay, and it is 5 millimeters deep. So sometimes you want to create, like this particular example, uh, a chamfer that has got uneven distances from the corner, and this time around what I'll do is that I will put the first number as 25, okay, and then I will click it over here, and then I will see from here I can clearly see that this is the distance that is 25 and this is the distance that is 2, and I can ask myself, oh, is this the correct orientation? So this is not the correct orientation. The 25, I want it to be along this edge. You need not change the numbers. All you need to do is click on this toggle. When you click on this toggle, it switches to 25 mm here and 2 millimeters here, and then I can change my 2 millimeters to 20 because that is the distance. Then I click apply. All right, chamfer is only done one at a time, so what you need to do is you can create it again. Okay, and if you are not sure, same thing, you can just put 2 millimeters here and see where is the 2 millimeters. So the 2 millimeters here, 20 millimeters go in. So yes, I'm in the correct orientation, so I can change this to 25 millimeters. Then I click apply, click OK, and this is it. With this, I'm done with question figure 7, with the question 2a from figure 7. um, I've taught you how to create a sketch on a surface of a part. I've taught you how to create a work plane offset over a distance, and then I've also taught you about the whole commands. Okay, with that, I see you for the next question.